Hi, my name is Derek Daywig. I'm an assistant professor of exercise science here at Fairmont State, and today we'll be showing you some of our labs in the Health and Human Performance Department. So all of our labs here are on the bottom floor of the education building. When we first walk through into this lab, this is our human performance lab. So in here, we've got a large space for teaching. We have a lot of labs that we do in here for various classes, such as fitness assessment, biomechanics, research methods and design. It's a space for students to use to learn more about the things that we talk about in class, as well as for their research projects that they may be doing. Over here, what we have is our squat power rack. So this mainly gets used for strength and conditioning, where folks will use this to teach proper form from a safety standpoint, as well as how might you prescribe different types of exercises for individuals, as well as some students will use this for their research projects if they're interested in training and seeing improvements in strength. These mirrors help to evaluate how people move on their own, to be able to see what is my body doing as I go through these types of movements, that they're able to then use and correct form-wise. And then over here is our typical classroom space. We have our whiteboard that we'll draw on and teach on. And then our TV, which is where we do all of our lectures at when it comes to the lab. We have 16 seats in here for students to be able to sit, take notes, listen, but most of the time when we're in here, we're out moving around. Exercise science is a very hands-on and applied field. So students get a lot of opportunity to practice those skills. And then over here, we have some of our exercise science graduate assistants. This is Lindsay and Eris. And then Josie, who is one of our undergraduate exercise science students that have graciously helped out for today as well. And then over here, what we have from an exercise physiology standpoint is our metabolic cart and Woodway treadmills. These treadmills are able to change speed, go up and down inclines, and help to evaluate measures of cardiovascular fitness. Our metabolic cart helps to record the amount of oxygen individuals are consuming and the amount of carbon dioxide they're exhaling, and helps us to give measures of cardiovascular fitness, such as VO2 max. So this gets used for both a teaching perspective and perhaps research perspective as well. But over here, we have all of our standard kind of basic ways to assess health: blood pressure cuffs, stethoscopes. We have pulse oximeters, which help to measure heart rate and percent oxygen saturation of the blood. And then over here, we have our Monarch bikes, which we can use for various measures of either aerobic or anaerobic fitness testing. And then in this room, this is our new applied biomechanics lab. So within this room, a lot of research and teaching gets done to evaluate the way individuals move. So being a biomechanics lab, the primary focus of this space is to measure and record how people move, whether that's how much range of motion you have at a joint, how much force you're placing onto the ground, and subsequently the reaction force back. And this can be looked at in the context of injury prevention, human performance, and trying to really evaluate just what is it about people that causes them to move particular ways. So over here, within the ground, we have two triaxial force plates. What these are going to help us to do is measure reaction forces from the ground onto a participant, a student, an individual. What they can do is measure force in three different directions. You can get center of pressure, where that influences the way you balance. And then we can couple that with these cameras that are here mounted around the wall to be able to record how people move from a kinematic standpoint. And really what this is referring to is joint ranges of motion, how they move in space, stride length, stride width, how high someone might jump, how far someone might jump. We're able to record that and digitize that into our computer. So if you've seen any making of CGI or video games, it's similar type of concept where we'll use the little reflective dots, put those on different parts of the body, and digitize the skeleton into our computer program that then allows us to visualize the way people move and to get objective measurements of movement. So then over here, some other things that we can do and integrate with this lab is we have what's called a BioPAC system that allows us to evaluate electromyography signals. And electromyography signals are the electrical signals sent to the muscle to cause contraction. So people can wear little electrodes. It's similar to EKG or ECG, except instead of the heart, we're looking at actual skeletal muscle, such as the biceps or the quadriceps or hamstrings, calf, whatever it may be. We can see the neural drive going to the muscle. And then over here, this is still kind of a work in progress, but we're setting up student workstations for students to come in, and if they're collecting data for a study that they're working on, being able to process some of their data over here on the side with our laptops and external monitors for them as well. So some of our students in the specifically exercise physiology concentration take a research methods and design class. And this research methods class helps them to design a study that they want to do. And the design class is the next semester where they actually execute the study. So a lot of our students will come in here and do actual independent research with the mentor of the professor of that class. So the space is getting used frequently. And with all of the tools and the things that we have available, it's really starting to grow interest in what we have academically here, and then also how what they learn in the classroom really applies to real life and how they might actually evaluate movement, measures of physiology, cardiovascular fitness, and then all of our other normal measures of health that you might get anytime you go to the doctor, such as heart rate, blood pressure. Other sorts of vital signs, body composition.